Hello world! WayofTime here, bringing to you another episode of EEPower. So, let's see, what can we talk about to start with this wonderful thing? A few things happen, slash not happen, slash going to happen. Anyways, let's go into the messy, gory details of things. So, recently I just gave blood, so I am making sure to be nice and conservative with my arm movement, so I thought, hey, what would be a good low-stress situation where nothing can possibly go wrong? Yes, let's record a bit and make sure that we don't do anything incredibly stupid. So I did go out of my way to explore a vast area. I wish I could show how much I did on the map, however, kind of difficult seeing as the map doesn't exactly show bigness. Yes. Anyways, now what I did was manage to get some peppercorn and managed to finally get some jungle saplings to drop. I mean, come on, it's like they have no drop rate whatsoever for these jungle saplings when they are from the Harvest Craft, yes. And I do have a bit of peppercorn. Now, there's one interesting thing that I didn't know, and the only reason I didn't know this was because of the lack of NEI integration. There are actually a few Harvestcraft blocks that are needed for some post-processing needs. If we check Harvestcraft, we can see there are quite a few here. So let's see. The pot, obviously not something we're going to need, and it's only a placeable thing. We got the beehive, apiary, which doesn't seem like something that we can do anyways. We also have a bunch of other stuff that just for some reason it was like, hey, you're searching for Harvestcraft? This stuff has nothing to do with it, however we're gonna do it anyways. Water barrel, I'm guessing it's to collect water from rain. Stone basin, no idea. Clay jug, a bunch of other things. And a brick well. Basically a bunch of stuff that has no harboring on what I wanted to do. There's actually one specific block I wanted to check out, however, it doesn't seem to be here. Let's see. You might be able to find it. The press. Presser, there we go. So the presser is required to basically make the soy. So if we take the soy, we're able to make tofu out of it. Now this is good because there's a lot of uses of tofu, firm and otherwise. Let's see, there's two tofu, silken tofu and firm tofu. Uses of this, there's 100 uses, quite literally. And also, there are 12 uses for the silken tofu, and there's also like different types of milk. If we check, there's like coconut, chocolate, soy milk. And if we check the uses of soy milk, there's also 11. Now, black pepper was the main thing I wanted from that entire expedition, but I managed to get that anyways. So, what are we going to want to do today? I mean, all this is all well and good, however, it doesn't really solve our underlying problems. Now, what we're going to want to do is to expand our power network. Our power network is unfortunately a little chopped up and dissected in the sense that we are quickly losing power. It's slightly keeping up, though it's not giving us enough to do all the stuff we want. Now, we can, if we really wanted to. Ooh, fresh milk. Yay, 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 yay. Oh my gosh, a canister of chocolate milk? I mean, that can be very delicious. Might make the most lactose tolerant person squirm from overexcitement, but where was I going with this? I probably have no clue whatsoever. Anyways, power network, barring expanding, adding a bunch of culinary generators, which I don't think we're even able to support, we are going to need some sort of method to generate a lot of power. Now, what I'm thinking is we can either use our current infrastructure, i.e., we can just make a tree farm of some description and just feed stuff in. I think I want to do a tree farm anyways because, I mean, look at how much birch we're using. Look at that monstrosity in the distance that is going to require birch for days. Ugh. Okay, so we're going to need some power. There's a bunch of possibilities. Some are a little too advanced for us, but let's go and check a few of them and see what we can do. One thing we could try is to do the mechanism generator, the wind turbine. Now if we hold shift, left shift, and M, we can see a generator that uses the strength of the wind to produce energy with greater efficiency at higher levels. That is good and everything, so that means if we were to have it at a high level, say above this thing maybe, we could generate energy. However, I'm a little iffy on constant free energy generation. I mean, if this had something to do with it. Anyways, we are going to need quite a bit of infrastructure for this, so it might not necessarily be something that we can do right away. However, something like this combustion generator does sound kind of fun. Now I'm wondering what type of fuels that the combustion generator can use. It can probably use oil, but it can also probably use fuel. So if we were to make some sort of fuel, what type of refineries do we have? I know that Buildcraft later on has different types of refineries. Power, like gram joules, is that? Take an input of oil and energy and output fuel used for rockets and vehicles. Probably not what we want, and probably something that's going to be a bit more difficult, and that needs, unless we were to build some sort of elaborate tank system. We need to look at more alternatives than just those, because I feel like I'm not even scratching the surface of what's available to us. Okay, I think I have a rudimentary plan on what we're going to do. I'm looking at the wiki right now and basically checking all the different types of energies that we are able to use, produce, etc. Now, it seems that for the combustion generator, we are able to use hooch. It'd be interesting if we... Hooch bucket. Oh my goodness, how do you even make hooch? Hooch... it would be lovely if it could actually tell us how we make hooch. I can probably search that at another time, however, it's... Although that would be hilarious to have your base fueled, well, your base and yourself fueled on alcohol, I don't think it's going to be a very productive endeavor. So oil gives us 30 RF a tick and does 150 kilo RF. And that is, well, per bucket, and that is quite a bit. Now, if we were to use fuel instead, that will give us a lot more, granting us 60 RF a tick, and being 10 times as efficient, going with a total of 1500 RF. Now that is something I can get behind, and I think would be a relatively easy thing to set up. So, well, relatively easy in the sense that, well, I'm going to need to just make, well, there's a few things that are going to be required logistics-wise. One of them is going to be carting over all of the oil so that we'll be able to process it either here or process the fuel. I don't think it has much of a difference. However, I don't think there's actually comparator support on any of the Buildcraft devices. You have to use lasers to be able to do any of that sort of stuff, and it isn't redstone flux compatible, at least from my knowledge, which is once again, I don't know, way of the future and all that. So next problem is that we're going to need to find the closest oil field, and we're going to need to transport it. So one thing I'm thinking is maybe we can go with just canistering the stuff up. Maybe you can check the uses. Probably not. Okay. So maybe you can cart over the stuff in tanks. Let's check our tanks. And just maybe manually changing it. Ender tanks. Not something we're going to be able to use. So portable tanks. That'll give us 8 buckets. Not really what we want. You can also do hardened ones. That requires Invar, however, which requires the smelting of ferrous and iron with an induction smelter. Induction smelter is one of those devices that we're going to need anyway, so I think we're going to develop that right now. So induction smelter requires copper for the gears. Just going to give it the gears. It's going to require this. There. Ba ba ba. And it's also going to need Invar to make Invar. That isn't counterintuitive whatsoever. Oh, I wish I knew that. We can actually use ferrous and iron in the induction smelter as it is right now. Okay, so that does cut a few steps required out of the entire process. I'm not sad about that at all, actually. I think we're going to need to smelt all of this up to start with. Guess it doesn't really matter which one we go. And I think I'll just use all of this and make the Invar that we are requesting. Here, we're going to need more capacitors, unfortunately. And it looks like we are slowly outgrowing this shop. So let's get the composite materials for what we're doing. I already forgot. And then we can move onwards. Ah, yes, portable tanks. What would I do without you? Probably a lot of things, since I have no clue what I'd do with you. So put that in there, that in there. Let's make 2 portable tanks. I think 2 portable tanks would be good enough for us. And let's see, portable tanks, so we can port over our liquids to a more desirable fashion. Or we can actually use the recipe that doesn't require pre-processing. 1, and they do not stack, which is unfortunate, though understandable. Let's get the stuff that we definitely won't need. Probably won't need standard binding agents for all this. And we are going to need to use oil. So that's going to require a pump, which needs more iron and wood to be able to create. And we're also going to need our glass. So there. Apparently Buildcraft does not indeed use the things that I need to be able to make the tank. So it doesn't use the ore dictionary to make the tank, which is kind of unfortunate when you think of it. Let's make a stack of these just because. Not because I'm derping up and doing random things, but just because I want to. And we're also going to, unfortunately, need a gear. Let's just go with a stack of those. And I am realizing how slow I am at clicking while I'm doing this. Like, click, 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 click. Can you blame me? I just gave blood. Admittedly, that excuse doesn't really work for me, considering that it's my other arm doing all the actions. Shows how much forethought I actually have on these sort of situations. But alas, cruel fate. Pumping actions complete. And let's make the other things that we need in the meantime. Do we seriously need an achievement for every single item I create in this? Really? Really? Come on. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this might be enough oil for what I'm envisioning. Yeah, I'll try not to suck up the water because of the lack of oil from this. So, it should obviously be an easy enough system to make. Now, what I'm also using are Ender IO conduits. Ooh, there must be an ore node over there. Probably a bad one. In fact, it is a bad one. However, I'm not going to worry about it right now. So, pump. Gonna want boom, boom. Here comes the boom. Ray or not. We're just going to slap levers pretty much everywhere. And in fact, I think I will have... Nah, we'll just do the standard. So I do have Ender IO conduits, thankfully. But we also do have our thankfully fancy hardened portable energy tanks. Not energy tanks. If they were energy tanks, I think I'd be a bit more SOAL. So here, we got some oil that hopefully once we wrench it together, there goes a bit. Let's put that there, and here we go. We got some of our oil. So we can wait for these things to fill up. It shouldn't take too long, and as you can see, it's showing that it's remaining an oil pipeline. How much did we actually lose? 1510. So probably about 250. Yeah, 250 millibuckets. Won't be too much energy, really, considering that we're not going to need too much, but oh well. So I'm going to wait for these to fill up, then I can... can I? Or do I need a wrench? Okay, I can just break them. Good, I don't need a wrench. Okay, I'll be right back. Hello, darkness, my best friend. Probably a bit tone deaf on that, but oh well. So we got 64 buckets worth of good, delicious crude, and we're going to try to utilize this as much as we can. So we are going to need to start with the actual refinement of this to a usable form. Now I'm thinking that what we might do is have our energy piggyback here so that it's another source. Probably just have it so that it goes like here. This way we won't have to add too much extra fancy wiring for everything. And we'll probably be able to, you know, use the rest of this area for actual beautiful stuff, not all this like dirt pillar, etc. We're just going environmentally friendly. In other words, let's start with our crude exportation. So we are going to need to make a refinery, and I'm thinking we'll keep it at one refinery, i.e. one engine. And here is where I am a little about this entire process. The thing is, we are going to need Buildcraft energy to run this system, and I do not believe that Ender IO conduits are able to interface with this correctly. I could be completely wrong on this, so let's actually find out. Apparently I might be wrong on this. If so, that would be quite amazing. Now, it might unfortunately give a constant energy draw because that's how Buildcraft operates, but we'll have to see. So, we'll put this here, and what we'll want is that our output will basically go here, and it'll output directly to our generator, and the generator that we need is the fuel generator. Let's see. Fuel generator, this is yellowrium fuel rod. We're going to need to check for the, probably directly we're going to need to search for, that's unfortunate that it's creative only. Let's go into our Ender IO witchcraft wizardry and alchemical wizardry. Alchemical wizardly? Combustion generator. Okay. So let's get that off. Combustion generator. That's easy enough. Easy enough in the fact that I only need a few dozen things, which are probably going to require machines that are beyond me. So that's obviously not something. Alloy smelter, basically nether quartz. That is slightly different than the stuff that I have available to me right now. Okay, so we are going to need to do a trip to the Nether. I feel a little prepared. Although this was pretty much sprung on us randomly, I think we're prepared enough to be able to do this. I mean, just setting up the Nether portal, we already have all the resources for that. We just need to find a nice place to put the portal. It's not like it matters if it's obstructive or not. We're just not going to be here often anyways. Good thing I know the dimensions of the portal off by heart. Of course, of course. I don't think birch really goes with it. It goes with a lot of things, but it doesn't go with this. Not really. I'm gonna hate myself. Geronimo. Okay, let's make sure that we load in the surroundings. Getting a bit of a frame rate decreasing, however that's mainly because the terrain has to actually generate and load. Sort out might be a good idea. So it seems that we do have a abundance of nether quartz over there. We also do have some glowstone. However, I don't think we're going to want to look at harvesting glowstone at this time. All we need is enough for 4. Yeah, so we need 8 nether quartz, and the machine chassis we already have this stuff for. Let's keep an eye open. Thankfully, this is an easy enough endeavor. And that gave us pretty much exactly the amount that we need. Now I feel like since I don't have the strongest armor I can, that I am a little unprepared for this area. However, it's not as dangerous as some areas I've been to. However, all the armor and the armor is a minus, but the fact that there's no nether ores here is a plus, so I don't have to worry about stuff creeping up on me when I do stuff. So, Bevo's Tech Pack, it's not really supposed to be a survivalist nightmare. It's mainly supposed to just be a small, well, tech-oriented, and the Nether journey really isn't the focus of this pack. So I think, yeah, could I have gone earlier? Probably, considering how good of a spawn that area was. Nice and open. Probably could have done with the gas tier. But, first journey went well. Let's actually put to use all of this stuff. We only got 8 pieces of nether quartz. I think that doesn't really constitute as much in the way of involvement as some people may think. So let's just throw these in and fuse them together. Should be easy enough endeavor. Just plonk goes one, and plonk goes another. Culinary generators are now refilled, so they're no longer hungry for action. And we got our fused quartz things. So, first off, our reservoirs are going to require a bit of iron wizardry. Would probably be a good idea if I actually had those ahead of time, but oh well. Reservoirs, got the 2 that are required. We're also going to need a machine chassis. I could have sworn that I had one of those in here. Doesn't look like it, but it's not like it matters too much anyways. Machine chassis, check. Gonna need a bit more of this so that we can make our, not that, but this, 2. And the final thing that we're going to, yes, of course, we are missing our electrical steel, which is right here. And our final product that we need is the basic capacitor, which we have here. Tin powder. Doesn't seem like tin powder is in our storage right here. Let's see. This is... We're going to need another filter for this, which is what this is for. So tin powder, let's start smelting all that stuff. And we don't want to match the metadata, and the reason for that is because there's a lot of things in Ender.io that has the same metadata. So having that would be definitely a negative. So we have everything that we need, I think. Yep, combustion generator. Now we're just going to need to hook up all of our power and hope that it works initially. We're going to need our fluid conduits, which are in one of these chests. And I don't even know why I put a bunch of this stuff away. I know why I put, well, some of the stuff, it's obvious, like it's trash. But another thing, like the wrench, is something that I kind of need a lot, especially with what I'm doing now. So we might as well keep it on our inventory a bit more. So let's hook this up, get our energy, and we'll probably want to have this going under if we want to have any future endeavors with this. Okay, here we go. You'll want this. Extract all the time, basically. And we'll want an energy conduit here to only input after input. Wonder if we can. In, out, extract, insert without signal. So when there's no signal, it will insert. If there's a signal, i.e. if we do the emergency shut off, 1, 2, 5, we pretty much have just enough for this. Okay. There we go. We'll put our conduits there, so we'll have our combustion generator here. There we go. And this will produce our power, which will go this way. However, we also need that. So pretty much this is going to have to power that, since then again, I think this is on in-out mode. Like the one up there, it's not force in, so it's not like it really matters. But it'd be good to have anyway. So let's set this up so that we input in here, and it is working. Now what I'm wondering is if we take this off and this stops, will it stop? Okay. Fuel, we are getting fuel. And we need a source of coolant, which should be an easy enough thing to do. Let's set that up. We just need an aqueous accumulator, don't we? Doesn't seem like this has much energy, which is a bit of a problem. Though not too much of a problem considering how much energy, I wonder, is this actually taking. It's probably taking a big lion's share now that I think of it. Since the refinery does require like 2 of these combustion engines, and I think the ratio is 10 to 1. Unless I'm mistaken on that end. I'm probably not mistaken. I've been playing it long enough that I do understand at least those ratios. However, anyways, aqueous accumulator. Is water enough for cooling this? Probably not. Okay, at least I do have those copper gears that I can use. And some reception coils, so that's going to be very receptive on our end. Though I don't think this requires reception coils. No, it doesn't. It does require one of these. A bucket, which is not made in that method. There we go. And it's also going to require one of our machine chassis. Yes, machine frames. Okay. Not the most accurate way to do things. Most accurate way to do things. Oh my goodness, I feel like a salesman. Not the most accurate way to do things, however, it does its job. If you're a salesman, 1, why are you watching me? You should be doing work. Or work, as I should say. And 2, I don't even know where I'm going with this. So, need to select it. So, I wish I could rotate it. It doesn't seem like I am able to rotate it, however. So, I'm not going to lose too much sleep over it. The last thing we need to do is flood our entire base with useless things. Always a good thing to do. Make sure, kids, you flood your base when you're trying to do important things. Make sure you do it at home, too. Turn on all those taps and just run the rivers dry. Or wet with blood. I don't know, maybe you've been talking to Gideon Seymour a little too much. If you have been, I'd say you should probably drop the knife. Okay, so down we go for our second bucket. I said down we go. Come on. There we go. And made the matters worse. But oh well, we got that done. Well, done. We're going to need to put everything back. I guess there. We're going to need to get one more conduit. Right here. To output that. And then we're going to need to... Blah! There we go. Okay, so it does seem like it is generating our energy. We're doing 25 ticks, 25 RF a tick per millibucket, or it's consuming 25 per tick. Oh, 25 ticks. This lasts 25 ticks per millibucket. Okay, and it's using 1 per 3 ticks. Now let's see if we are doing a net positive. We are not. Where's all the energy going to? Not there, that's for sure. Are we going to need another combustion generator to be able to keep up with our demand? Maybe. Let's turn this off. This is slowly lowering. And this is slowly lowering also. By slowly, I mean not at all. Huh. And let's check the capacitor bank. We should be getting some energy. We are getting energy. Doesn't seem like it's a net increase, though that might just be because it needs to fill the banks of all the other machines. Okay, so that is filling. That is filling. If we turn that on and wait for it to go to its max, that is lowering. That's not using energy, and that is also lowering. So currently, we are not at a net surplus, though that may mainly have to do with the fact that we are still filling this with fuel. If we were to turn this off, that is giving us a net increase. We're probably going to have to wait for a bit before we are able to tell for certain. I want to put one of these there so that we can probably link those two so that we can put another one down. And that might be our best bet at success. I should have brought more quartz over. Oh well. Let's wait for more of this to refine, and then we can see if we reach the equalizing point. And probably throw a bit more food in the oven. Because our energy system is getting slow. That didn't make any sense whatsoever. Okay. So there's two tests I want to see. One is the fact that, well, it's generating energy. And this is no longer running. So this is generating a surplus of energy. We can see that. Is it generating more energy when this is off? Okay, so it seems, and I say this sincerely, it seems like this is no longer using energy when nothing is happening. So it does seem like this energy system is now pretty much balanced in the sense I do have a flux of energy, but that's only currently in the sense that I am going to need to see what will happen when these are offline. I'm thinking that we are going to need a bit more than what we have right now. Always fun when a phone rings when you're about to wrap up. So it seems that I'd like to monitor this system a bit more carefully, see if we are able to keep our energy demands at a steady level in the sense that we're not going to all of a sudden blow up due to lack of energy, because that would kind of suck. And also I want to see maybe seems this is balanced-ish right now. Okay, so we are going to need another combustion generator, so that will require another trip to the Nether. Maybe 2 more trips, since these will run out and we will need more energy. But it seems that we do have our ambitious power system, although not fully automated, at such a degree we are able to continue onwards and be plentiful about our waste. Isn't it good to be environmentally unfriendly? Well, that's all the time we have for this episode of EEPower. If you like what you see, don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe to future episodes. And feel free to rage. I'm okay with you raging. As long as it's a constructive rage and not ooga 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 booga. If it's booga 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 ooga, I'm okay with that. WayofTime here, signing off. Have a wonderful day.